Good morning guys, it is currently about 5:30 in the morning and I've got a bucket of flowers to pick, so I'm going to pick that and then I'm going to come back and chat to you a little bit about what's been going on the farm this July. So guys, I've just finished picking for the bouquet order that I've got this morning, and I just wanted to sit down and tell you about a few things that have gone on the flower farm in the last few weeks. There's some good news and there's some bad news. I'll start with the bad and that is that unfortunately we lost one of our dogs last week, and we're all really sad about that, and we're going to miss little Reggie so much. I'll probably put some clips in of him because he's definitely been in the background of a lot of my videos. You'll probably recognise him and you'll definitely recognise his bark. So unfortunately Reggie, we found out he had prostate cancer, so we only had a couple of weeks with him to say bye. So things have kind of got a little bit behind on the flower farm just as we were spending time with him. And we buried him in the flower field, so he's going to be with me in the flower field all the time, which is going to be really nice. And I've ordered him a nice big tree. I got a Himalayan birch tree, so it's got a really nice bright white bark on it, which will remind me of Reg and his white fur. So yeah, that's been really sad, and we're going to miss him loads, and I think the other dogs are already missing him loads as well. Yeah, it's such a shame. I wish dogs could live forever. To counter that bad news, we've had a couple of bits of good news. So last week, on the weekend, I was in the newspaper, in the Telegraph, and there was a really nice article about young flower farmers and how they are managing to grow flowers in the current climate. So that was really good, and I got a nice big photograph on one of the pages in the supplement, in the Saturday supplement of the Telegraph, so that was really good. The other good news is that I just hit 20,000 followers on Instagram, which is very nice. A couple of my pictures that I've put on lately have been really popular. So I've been really busy lately with bucket orders. There's been a couple of florists who've been in touch. I don't normally sell to many florists, but a couple of them have reached out to me this year and ordered a couple of buckets, so that's been good. And every week something kind of crops up, so when I'm looking forward to the next week, I'm thinking, oh, I haven't got loads on next week, but something always comes up. Somebody always messages me putting in an order for buckets or for bouquets and things, and then my honesty box has been doing quite well as well, and I feel like I'm really kind of enjoying this moment in time, because there's lots of really cool flowers in the field at the moment, lots of things that I've been waiting a long time for, lots of new and exciting things as well. I am really enjoying being able to pick the things that I really want to pick at the moment and putting them together in bouquets and really kind of honing in my style. What I think I'm going to do in the next couple of weeks is just do like a audit on the flower farm, just because everything's kind of in full bloom at the moment. I want to go around and just look at what I'm using at the moment, what I'm not using, what I don't want to grow as much of, what I maybe want to grow more of, and then just see what's working and what's not, because it's easy to think, oh, I'll remember that when I come to order my seeds again in September time, but you just don't remember things like that. So I'm going to do it now whilst the flowers are still here, and then hopefully next year I can grow less of what I don't want or need and more of what I'm using the flowers for at the moment. So for example, I've got a lot of Amaranthus behind me and I'm not using a lot of it at the moment. It's quite handy when I'm doing wedding buckets and things, it can go into those when people want bright colours and things, but I am typically not using it at the moment in my hand-tied bouquets, and I think it's because it is July at the moment and it kind of feels a bit autumnal to be using Amaranthus at this time of year. So I think maybe when it gets towards the end of August and September I'll definitely be using more Amaranthus, but it just feels a little bit weird at the moment, but we'll see. I'm definitely going to, at least I can pick it for drying, so that's one bonus of the Amaranthus. So yeah, like I mentioned, it is July at the moment, everything is in full bloom. Things have been struggling a little bit actually because of the fact that we haven't had a lot of rain at all this month. Last night Rob was checking the weather station that we have, and this month we've had 6 mil of rain, which isn't really a lot, and things are very struggling a lot. Last week we had a heat wave, it got to almost 40 degrees here. Luckily most things in the field seem to be doing okay. I have got an overhead irrigation system that I have been using every now and again just to make sure that things aren't going to like totally shrivel away. But everything seems to be doing okay, at least in this field anyway. But it has been very, very hot and dry, and it's brought a lot of things on early, and I'm thinking now it's still July, what am I going to do for the next 3 months? Hopefully things aren't going to finish too quickly. However, I do have another succession of plants to go in. I've got more sunflowers, more grasses, some more rudbeckia and things like that, but I will show you those later. So anyway, I'm talking quite a lot at the moment and I'll probably think of other things as I'm walking around, but I'm going to show you the front field first, and then we'll head around to here and I'll show you what I'm loving this season, what I'm not loving, and what's going well, what isn't. Please let me know in the comments what's going well for you this year and what isn't, what is your favourite flower of 2022, because I've definitely got one. I'll let you know when I come back to this field. I have an absolute favourite this year, and I don't usually have those, but it is a new variety that I'm trying this year and I'm so excited about it. So let's go across to the front field. Yes, that was a pig in my kitchen. Hector likes to spend a lot of time in the kitchen and he likes to slam the door to keep himself in as well. So I'm just in the front flower field and there's lots of stuff going on in here, but it's kind of not in the limelight at the moment. The back field is definitely producing a lot more than this field is at the moment. I think that dynamic is going to change when the dahlias start to flower, but things in here haven't been doing great this year. It's probably because of the dry weather, but things kind of have been a bit weedy, a little bit pest problems, and also a lot of the new perennials that I've put in haven't performed the way that I thought they would. So like I said earlier, I'm going to be doing an audit of everything that's in the flower field, and I'm going to tell you what I'm going to be keeping and what I'm going to be getting rid of, because there's quite a lot of perennials that I've put in that I've realised aren't really fit for purpose, and there's probably more perennials out there that would be of more use to me than the ones that I have in here now. So let's just start here, over here. So this bed here had a lot of Nigella in. I probably filmed it when I planted this, I can't remember, but it's definitely been on my channel before. I've just noticed the pigs got out into the flower field. I also have another video in the pipeline. It's probably going to come out before this one, about dried flowers. I picked most of this for dried flowers because it actually flowered when I was on holiday in June last month. So I let it go to seed heads, and we picked the seed heads and we've hung them up to dry in the container. So this bed is ready for planting with something new. I have some trays of grasses and some other things around the back of the farm, so I might just plant with those, or I might just wait to put biennials in it, I'm not sure yet. And then here we have got a couple of beds of dahlias. The dahlias are only just starting to kind of bulk up. This bed has been quite well established for a while now, but this one has definitely been lagging behind. However, these are the two best looking beds of the whole flower field. I have got lots of flowers on them at the moment, as you can see. These definitely need chopping down because I have got a lot of pest pressure on the dahlias this year. I haven't really managed to feed them much over the season, which I'm kind of a little bit annoyed about, because I was hoping to really give them lots of nutrition and increase the Brix level. If you don't know what Brix is, then definitely check out the No-Till Flowers podcast. There was an episode recently about Brix, and basically it's a measure of the sugar inside the plant, and plants with a higher level of sugar within the leaves will deter pests. So there's I think it's if your plant has a Brix level of over 12, then you probably won't find any pests on it at all. So I actually tested my dahlias the other day, and I think it was around 5 or 6. So obviously I've definitely got some room for improvement there. But it's just I just need to find some more time to experiment with that. So what I would like to do is test Brix and then feed the dahlias, or give them a foliar feed or something, and then test the Brix an hour or two afterwards, or the day after, just to see whether that feed has raised the Brix levels inside the plant. So that is a whole other topic, so we won't go too deeply into that. But one thing that I did want to just mention, that I've just remembered, is that next month, I think it's actually next week now, I am going on a course in Wiltshire with a guy called Eddie from his business is called Rhizophilia, and I'm going on a full day one-to-one soil microscopy course with Eddie, and then the day after I'm doing a full day composting and compost teas course with him and some other people. So I'm really excited about that. I'm hoping that it's going to give me loads of new tools and information that I can use to improve the soil life and the plants on the flower farm. So stay tuned for that. I might just see whether I can do some filming, or I will definitely at least let you know how it goes afterwards anyway. So carry on with the tour. So here is the eucalyptus that I planted here. This is a different variety to the one at the back. The back one is I think it's Eucalyptus Pulverinta, which is the baby blue that has like the ring-shaped leaves. And then this is, I can't remember the name of it, but if I do remember, then I'll put it down in the video. And then here we have a couple of beds of grasses. I'm not really picking a lot from here at the moment, but there is some Sataria Italica Red Jewel, I think that one is. And there's a couple of bits of millet, and there is some grasses up there that are still usable. This is Eyelash pearl grass, and that needs all chopping back now because I picked quite a lot of it for dried flowers, and then it just went a bit too far when it got really hot, and it just needs cutting back because there aren't any usable stems on that anymore. And then there's lots of the greater quaking grass at the back there that I was hoping to cut for drying. However, I just find it really annoying because all of the seed heads just get stuck together. They look amazing, but they're just really annoying. I don't know if anybody else feels the same about quaking grass. And then here we have, there's some Salvia Scleria, which is the Turkmenistans or something like that. And lots of people have said that they don't like this because it smells horrible. I'm not too offended by the smell, but I'm not sure whether I'm going to continue growing this or not because it hasn't been that useful this year. And then I have a little bit further back there two different types of Dusty Miller, and I think I'm also going to be getting rid of those. The Dusty Miller further towards the back was quite handy at the start of the season, but now it has the yellow flowers on it. It's not that desirable for me to use. Maybe I just need to cut it back and let it regrow so that I can use those nice grey foliage stems. And then I have this one here, which is the Lychnis Coronaria, and that is kind of more of a spindly stem with a white flower on the end, and I probably only used about 10 stems of that all together. It needs cutting back now. There's loads of things that need cutting back, but I didn't use a lot of it because I found that it was really hard to pick it at the right stage of flower, and I don't really like flowers that flower with a convex shape of petal, because I always feel like they look like they're too far gone, and that kind of looked a bit like that, so I think that's gonna go next year. And then here we have a little bit of a weedy patch of Craspedia, and this has been really good. I'm definitely going to keep growing this. It was a bit of a shame because I did actually plant this full bed up, but slug pressure has been terrible in this field this year, so the slugs got a lot of the new plants that I put in here, despite the fact that I put slug pellets down. And the same goes for this bed of dahlias here. The slugs will just not leave it alone, even though I keep putting organic slug pellets down. I think what I need to do is come out here on a night with a head torch and just like get rid of a lot of them, but I'm not even sure whether that would help much or not, so we'll see. These are artichokes. Obviously they've gone too far now. This one is absolutely huge. I've never seen one just as big as that before, but these all need cutting down because these ones here are starting to encroach onto the dahlias, and if I cut them down I might just get some more stems of more delicate stems in autumn time, so we'll do that and we'll see. And then these two beds here are more dahlias. As you can see, these are very far behind, and the majority of these are cuttings that I bought this season. I think they arrived in May or June even, and they've been planted out, and obviously they're taking a bit longer to establish, but there's a couple of them that have got flowers on them now, so hopefully in the next month or two they'll be looking a lot more bushed up and producing more flowers. And then here I have the lamb's ear. I've got quite a bit here, and then I've also got quite a bit over there. I think I need to rejig that and sort it out so they're all in one bed. I'm not sure whether I need this much of it, however it is quite handy in springtime bouquets, so that all needs cutting back. But then here we have a bed of salvia, some eryngium, and there's some veronica and some astrantia that I planted there last year. However, that kind of is looking a little bit pathetic. I think that lack of rain is causing that, and also this all needs cutting back so that it can send up new stems. But I haven't really used a lot of these this year. I think it's especially for the veronica and the astrantia, it's more of a case of letting it bulk up for next year. And then here I actually can't remember the Latin name for this, but it's like silver Sussex foliage. I'll put it up on the screen. I managed to find some plants on eBay, so I ordered those and put them in here. That's definitely going to be very useful for Christmas wreaths and things like that, so I'm really looking forward to having some of that foliage, because last year I noticed there was a lot of people putting it in wreaths and I was like, what is that stuff? It's amazing. So I'm glad I've got some of that now on the farm, and I might even order a bit more because I know that it's definitely going to be useful for Christmas wreaths and things. And then here we have some more of the lamb's ear, and then we have a few of the geums. I think I'm going to actually get rid of this geum, which has the smaller flowers. There's some, since I cut it back, there's a few new thingies on it, but I tend not to use this one. I tend to use I actually don't know the name of that variety, but this one is Mai Tai, and I definitely use that a lot in spring. However, I have been a bit disappointed by the number of stems that it shoots up. I always thought that it lasted a bit longer than it actually does, so I tend to only get to use it for a couple of weeks and then that's it. So it's taking up room in my flower field for something that only produces flowers for a couple of weeks in the spring. So we'll have to put that on the maybe list. And then here I've got some more Pittosporum. The Pittosporum that I put in a couple of years ago that's over in the kind of shrubby tree patch is doing really well, so I'm hoping that this is going to do really well. It's a really useful foliage that I use in my bouquets throughout the summer. And then I have some Brachyglottis, I think it is, and it's like I think it's called like dormouse or something to do with a mouse. And that's got a really nice leaf shape, so I'm hoping that's going to send out some stems that are tall enough for me to use at some point. And then I've got some more Pittosporum down here, some more of the Silver Sussex stuff, and I planted some more Verbena hastata at the back there, so I actually ordered some more Verbena hastata plants. This is the stuff. I ordered it in white and purple and pale pink. I think this is kind of the pale pink colour, because I tried to start it from seed and it just didn't go well, so I put some plants in and they seem to be doing okay, so I think probably they're going to be better looking next year, but we'll see. And then here I have the shrubs that are always here. This is actually looking really good, this Visocarpus. It's managing to establish itself quite well. And then I have some of the Hypericum there. That's been really nice actually, because the berry is a lovely peach colour, and been interrupted by a donkey. Lovely peach colour that just goes with nice kind of rusty colours, or the peachy kind of nice colours like that. And then over here isn't kind of looking very good at the moment. This is the triangle section of the field, and I forgot that Hector was in here, and I'm looking at him chomping stuff. So the Achillea has been looking really bad this year. Normally it's like up here, and it's like just bushes out this whole bed here, but it's kind of looking just really sad, really small, not very long enough stems, and the slugs definitely had a good go at this at the start of the year, so I think that's probably why. Also, some of the plants are probably quite old now and they need dividing, and I need to start some new plants from seed, so I'm definitely going to be doing that this season if possible. And then behind me I have a very flat looking patch of Alchemilla mollis. We finally got a bit of rain last night, so that's flopped down. I was hoping to pick a bit more of that for drying, but it kind of just looks a bit like it's gone a bit brown now, so I don't think I'm going to be able to use any of it, which is a shame. And then here I have a Lupine Patch that I planted in springtime, I think, or a couple of months ago. They've started sending up some flower stems, but like everything else, the slugs have been having a go at that, so, and the aphids did as well, so I just need to I keep saying this for everything, but I need to cut it all back and let it regrow. And then I've got some Valerian here that's been quite handy to use in bouquets. I'm not sure what people think about Valerian, because obviously it grows wild on the side of the road in some parts of the UK, so maybe some customers would see it as a weed or something that does grow wild. So yeah, let me know what you think about Valerian, but I really like it. So, and there's plenty of other things that we grow that are classed as wildflowers, or things that grow out in the wild, so I don't see why not. And then here behind me there's a patch of Oxide Daisy. I didn't get to use much of that because that did have some kind of pest damage. I don't know if it was thrips or something like that. That all needs cutting back and letting some new stems shoot up from those plants. And then there's quite a lot of weeds and stuff growing here. I really need to have a good weeding sesh. Then some, I think you can probably see the purple over there, some limonium, some sea lavender. That all needs picking to dry, because I typically don't use that one fresh, because I don't know, it's kind of just a bit cloud-like, a bit too bushy for me. Another thing that needs cutting back is this scabious. We've got some more artichokes in the middle there, some more lupins. Unfortunately, if you've seen my videos, I didn't get to use much of that because of the lupin aphid that I got, but luckily they seemed to kind of disappear at one stage, and I managed to use a few of those, but obviously not all of them, which was a shame. And then here is the direct sown bed that I sowed in one of my videos a couple of months ago, and I sowed flax, millet and nigella, and it is a little bit weedy, but I've been picking quite a bit of flax and some grass out of there, which is good. I really like the flax actually. I'm definitely going to try and grow that again, and it seems to have done well from a direct sowing. And then we have the sedum here. I've actually been using it at this stage, which I haven't done before. I usually wait until it's in flower, but I really like it. It's a really good filler to use in between the focal flowers, and I've seen a few other people using it like that on Instagram, so I thought I'll give it a go, and it looks really cool, so I'm glad I tried that. And then here I've obviously got the shrubs and things. These are the eucalyptus that I coppiced last year, and these are the eucalyptus that I coppiced this year. So as you can see, they're growing quite well there. You've got very tender foliage on them at the moment, but they're looking good. These, I'm probably going to try and cut these back for winter foliage when it comes to wreath making and things. So that is basically it for this field, guys. I need to get the pig back in the garden and I can go and show you the front flower field. So here I am in the back flower field, and I'm really impressed by how everything looks in this field this year. We put a lot of hard work into it, I put a lot of hard work into it, and I managed to calculate exactly the right amount of flowers that I was going to need for this field, and get pretty much every single hole planted up, which is something that I've never been able to do in this field, as it has been in its setting up stages in the last couple of years. So this year finally I managed to plant up every single bed, and everything is looking so good in here. When I come in here I just feel really proud to see all of the flowers in here, and I've kind of feel like I've picked the right varieties as well. Yeah, there's a few things that I'm going to think about when I do my audit, but the majority of stuff has gone really well, so I'll show you around in a minute. But I'm just stood here near all of these seed trays here. So these are some biennials and then some annuals that I sowed a couple of weeks ago as a last succession of the season. So I've got here, so actually these were neglected a bit last week because when Reggie was poorly, I just didn't have the time or the energy to come here and check on these. So considering we had 40-degree temperatures last week and I wasn't really watering them that much, they have actually done okay. Some of the biennial germination has been a bit patchy, but I'm happy with the majority of it. So anyway, we've got Honesty here, and that can be a bit erratic to germinate anyway, so I'm quite happy with the amount that I've got there. I think I've got another tray of it somewhere as well. This is some foxgloves. I don't know if you can see from here, but I have a row of trays under here which seem to be doing a lot better than the tray up here. And what I was going to do was put some shade or something over here, because I find that in summer things germinate better outdoors in the shade. So maybe next year I'm going to be able to put up some shade for sowing these biennials in here. So where was I up to? Here's some wallflowers and some more Honesty. This is some Valerian. I sowed a bit more just in case I wanted a little bit more. And then I've got some Dorcas here, some dill, some Rudbeckia. So this is Goldstrum in this half, and this is Goldilocks in that half. And as you can see, Goldstrum didn't germinate, but Goldilocks did. So I'm going to plant that out hopefully in the next week or two. And then I've got some Canterbury Bells for next year, biennials. Another tray of Canterbury Bells there, and some corn cockle. There's not many germinated there, but I'll probably give them a go in the field, because I have got a bed that needs ripping out, and I'll probably need all the plants I can get to plant in there to fill up the gaps, to make sure we've got living roots in the soil all year round. And then down here I've got a few grasses. So I've got some Sataria italica and some bunny-tail grass. The bunny-tail grass didn't germinate as well as the other grasses. And then here I've got a tray of foxgloves, and then some more Hesperus there. Some sunflowers, they're going to go in very shortly if I can rush that in. And then some more foxgloves, some more grasses for this season. And then here I've got a couple of trays of sweet williams and another tray of sunflowers there. So there's probably about 20 metres ish of plants that can be planted out now as annuals. So I'll take you over to this bed here, which there was some corncockle and some cornflowers in there, and then this one had some larkspur in it, which is all finished now, and then kind of goes back there up into the Pittosporum. This area here is looking quite messy and all needs chopping back down to the ground, so I'm really looking forward to getting that job done, because it kind of is making the rest of the field look messy when the rest of the field kind of looks quite good at the moment. So these snapdragons here, I interplanted those with foxgloves. The foxgloves didn't actually flower, so I'm hoping that they're going to flower next year. I think next season I'm going to have a lot of foxgloves, because as you can see I've got lots in the seed trays, and I've got the ones here and also another section at the back of the field that I'll show you later that didn't flower this year. So perhaps they will flower in autumn, or maybe they'll flower next spring. But I've got a feeling that it might even be too many foxgloves, but we'll see. So I'll start fresh from the first bed here, which is sunflowers. And if you've been following along with me this year, you'll know that this is one of the beds that is affected by the Canada thistle. And it's not too bad at the moment, because I managed to weed it a couple of weeks ago when I got back off holiday last month. I gave it a good weed, and it kind of needs another go over, and then that's fine. But I only managed to plant one row of sunflowers, and the rest kind of started to bolt in the seed trays when it got too warm and too late for me to plant them out. So I just ditched those and I sowed another batch, which is the batch behind the greenhouse there. So at least I've got one long row of sunflowers there, but because it's been so dry and hot, they're not very tall at all, as you can see, and they've all got the flower heads on them now. So we'll just see how they go in the next couple of weeks. And then this bed here was quite a few biennials, snapdragons. The snapdragons have done really well. They're kind of sending up a second flush of flowers now. Last week they didn't really produce anything. This week they've got a few more stems on them. There's some that have got quite a few seed head spikes on them, so I just need to cut those down and hopefully they'll send up a couple more shoots. The snapdragons have been so amazing this year. I'm so pleased with how they look. I've got this bed here, and then I've got another succession over there. So this was autumn sown. The ones over there were spring sown, and they're just coming into full flower now. So further down the line here, I'll head towards the back along this sunflower bed here. So there's quite a few biennials that didn't flower here as well, like the foxgloves and the sweet williams. I think that is because I didn't plant them till spring. They didn't actually go in the ground till this season, and they should have been planted obviously last winter. So I might keep them in the ground over winter and see what happens. And then behind me I've got some mallow, a white and a pink variety. I haven't been using a lot of that because some of the petals have had holes in them, which makes them a little bit unusual, but I need to keep cutting them back so that they keep producing stems. And then here I have scabious and status. So I've got pink, white and an apricot-y colour of status, and then I have white, purple and like a pink and also very dark scabious as well. I really have enjoyed using the scabious this year, but I find that I always plant the wrong colours. I need to stop planting the dark one because I don't particularly use it. The white one's quite handy, and I like the light pink ones, but I don't particularly use the dark pink ones, so that's something to keep in mind for next year. Hopefully I can get some nice scabious colours going next year. And then behind the scabious is some Ami, which is autumn sown Ami. This stuff here is looking good. The stuff behind it is kind of yellowing a bit now. I'm not sure if that is because of the extreme heat that we had last week, but that's kind of finishing, and this one's kind of ready to pick now. And then I've got another succession of Ami, which was spring sown, that is just starting to flower now over the other side of the field as well. And then we have here some cornflowers. They need chopping down. Some Greek cress there as well, which has actually dried itself out in the field, but because we had some rain last night it is wet, so I'm hoping that it can dry out again over the next couple of days, and then I can pick it dry and store it. Then the Dorcas is kind of looking a bit spent now. I think it's got the there's a virus, I can't remember the name of it. It's something like red leaf virus or something like that. I think it's got that virus, so I have managed to pick quite a bit of it, but it's not looking too good now. It's kind of dying off. I need to do some research into that and see what I can do to prevent it. I actually don't think there's anything you can do to prevent it, but we will check it out. And further along here I have, kind of in the middle of the field now, I have the low tunnel. It's actually spent the majority of its time down because of the hot weather that we've had, but actually today it could probably go back up when it's a bit overcast and not that warm. I'm not sure what the temperature is, but anyway, things in here I've been doing quite well. I've got the rat tail status here, then I've got some Zinnias. They haven't got a great stem length on them at the moment, but I'm hoping that it will improve as I keep picking the flowers and they keep growing. And then I have some Asters. I put the Asters in the low tunnel because that last year, I think I grew them in one of these beds here, they were good, but if it rained, the rain kind of rotted the flower and they kind of went really brown and mushy and not very desirable. So I didn't use many of the Asters last year, even though I really liked the way that they looked, because of that. So they're in the tunnel so that I can, if it rains, I can pull the tunnel cover over when the Aster plants have got flowers on. And then let's go down here. As you might already know, but my paths are so narrow in this field, so it's kind of a bit of obstacle course to try and get through to what you need to get, but I don't mind doing that to allow myself to put more flowers in here. Behind me there I have a bed of phlox, which is the creme brulee and the birds of a feather phlox. They are looking really nice, however they are quite short stemmed. So I've grown them outdoors before, not very successfully, but I've grown them in the tunnel successfully, and I'm just hoping that the stem length on those is going to extend as the season goes on as well. Here I've got some more Zinnias. I think there's a salmon coloured one. I think these are the Banari's giant Zinnias, and these are really quite nice. I'm pleased. Usually when I grow Zinnias I grow horrible colours that I don't like and I don't use, but this year I've managed to grow some decent colours, which is good. And then we've got this celosia. I really love this celosia. I can't remember the name of the celosia, but I'll put it up on the screen. But next year I definitely want to grow as much of that as I can. I think actually I did get all of that to germinate, but it didn't make it into the field, or there was something about it. So anyway, next year I need to make extra effort to grow more of that celosia. And I also have the coxcomb one as well, which has been good, but obviously that is single stemmed and not branching as far as I'm aware, so it's kind of not as good as this other branching variety, which is very nice. And then here behind me I have some more Asters, and then here some dill. I haven't used a lot of that dill actually, but it would be something that I would put into wedding buckets and things. It's not something that I would use in hand-tied bouquets and things. Then the Amaranthus. I'm very pleased with the way that the Amaranthus looks. It's very tall. Last year I didn't get very tall Amaranthus at all. It was actually planted somewhere over there towards the back of the field, but it's kind of chest height at the moment, and I'm very pleased with the way that looks. So I haven't actually been using a lot of it in bouquets, but like I said earlier on, it is, for me, it's kind of an autumnal kind of thing, but I will try and make the effort to use it, or if not, at least dry it so that I can use it dried. And then here we are, we're getting closer, we're getting hotter towards the favourite flower of the year. And here I am at the Cosmos bed, and this is a variety that I haven't grown before, which is Apricot. And I made a reel about this the other week on my Instagram. I just absolutely am in love with this flower. It's such a nice colour. It's kind of like a really vibrant orangey peachy colour on the outside, and then it kind of goes to a bit more of a pinky colour in the centre. There are a few different variations of it. As it gets older, it gets a little bit more paler, a bit more of an apricot-y colour, but it is definitely my favourite flower of 2022. It goes with so many other flowers, and it goes with nearly every colour scheme, which is just amazing. So next year, definitely putting a lot more of this Cosmos apricot in. And the Cosmos is kind of under control at the moment, but I think in the next couple of weeks it's going to go a bit wild, and that's when I start hating it, because it's really hard to keep on top of. And at the moment I feel like I'm cutting every new stem that comes onto the plant, but within a couple of weeks it's just going to get on top of me, and I'm not going to be able to keep up with how many flowers it's throwing out. So yeah, the Cosmos is doing really well this year. I've got lots of nice varieties that I seem to be using lots of. And then behind that is the, I'll walk over there, is the spring sown Ami, which is a great filler. It actually grows quite well in this field. It used to grow really badly in the front field when I was just growing in there. It does kind of get something wrong with it, as you can see in those pale coloured plants there, but it kind of does well enough to produce the flowers, and then it kind of dies off. So anyway, I'm pleased with the way it looks. I do get some usable stems off it, and the florists quite like it for a filler as well. And then here, that is the spring sown foxgloves that I started back in January. I'm hoping that they might even send up some shoots this autumn, some flowers this autumn, but we will see. And then here, that was a bed of giant poppies, which unfortunately didn't make it when I was on holiday, and they didn't get watered, so that they kind of died off. And I had some spare zinnias and nigella, so I've planted those in there, and they seem to be doing okay. They're not kind of doing amazing, but maybe in the next few weeks they'll start bulking up and looking a bit healthier. And then at the back here we've got some grasses. The bunny-tailed grass has kind of flopped over because we had the rain last night. It's just started raining again now, but I'm not complaining about that. They've been really good. I'm hoping to dry some of those bunny-tailed grasses as well, because they are really lovely and they're going to go nice in wreaths and things like that. And then the Rudbeckia. I've got lots of Rudbeckia Sahara and Rudbeckia Cherokee Sunset, I think. Really love those. I'm hoping that they're just going to keep growing and get a little bit taller, because so far the stems have been a little bit short, but I can already tell since we've had the rain that they are looking a little bit taller, which is good. And then here some Helichrysum, which is all closed up because of the rain, but we've got the pomegranate variety and a salmon colour as well. So they've been really nice, and they're kind of branching off now and producing some nice delicate looking stems, which is good. I wanted to grow a bit more of Helichrysum, but I have got kind of a decent sized patch there, but hopefully next year I can get it to germinate a little bit better. And then here I have the Sataria Macrostakia, and that is really cool. I just love the vibrant green of that. It goes really well with in particular it goes well with these Snapdragons, which is Potomac Orange, which is one of my favourite types of Snapdragon. I don't think I've grown this one before, but I'm really loving it. It goes really well with kind of like a vibrant orange pinky colour palette, and then that green Sataria goes really nicely with that as well. And also it goes well with pale colours, peachy pale colours. So yeah, we're back up here at the Snapdragon patch, and this is the spring sown Snapdragons, and we've got the Potomac Orange. I think we've got some Tetra ruffled giants down here that haven't got very tall stems on them, but the Potomac varieties are definitely looking very tall. The only thing I'm noticing here is I don't think I spring sowed much Potomac lavender, which is a shame, because Rob is making a right racket over there. I hope you can hear me over the noise that he's making. So yeah, lots of flowers available at the moment. Let me clean the screen. Really pleased with the way that everything looks. Like I said, I really need to do an audit on what's going well for me this year and what isn't. I've probably skimmed across lots of things that I've said that I liked and what I don't like this year, but I definitely need to have a more in-depth think about it, write a list of what I've grown this year, and what I'm definitely wanting to grow more of, less of, etc. So that'll help me plan better for next year. So I hope you enjoyed this farm tour. If you have any questions, put them down in the comments. Let me know how your growing season is going. What is your favourite flower of the season so far? What's growing well for you and what isn't? And I would love to know your perennial recommendations. Like I was saying earlier, a lot of the perennials that I put in aren't particularly performing for me, and I am looking for some more varieties to put into my perennial field over there at the front. So thanks again for watching, guys. If you got value out of this video, then I always appreciate when you guys buy me coffees. So if you want to buy me a coffee, the link is down in the description below, and I would just like to thank these following people for buying me a coffee since the last video. So have a good week, guys, and I will see you soon.